Hey, it's Don. I just wanted to touch on the news going around with eBay and the latest indictment and things like that. Now, I'm not going to get into any detail on any more of the eBay case that's going on. As I've said before, it's an ongoing case. If you know anything or have followed any case in history, the information we have now is just the surface of what's going on. My personal guess at the end of this, when everything's said and done, court case is done, we're going to hear some much worse, horrific stuff from what was detailed in the court case itself. So this is nothing. Just be prepared to hear more about this on the news from time to time as they either ring somebody else in here or somebody appears in court or as the trial date gets closer. Again, that's probably not for a year or two. All of the clatter and chatter you're hearing from everybody who works at eBay now are from PR, basically. Whether it's coming from the CEO who finally, after almost 2 weeks, came out and said something at the end of some obscure conversation, or it's somebody else who they rehired who's now trying to be a face of eBay. These are all things in their own words, maybe, but basically orchestrated through a public relations PR department. This is what big business does. There's no way on earth that I will ever believe that anything that comes out of a corporate person has been strictly from their own personal viewpoint. They're obviously an employee of the company when they are talking, when they're out in public, and everything like that is pretty much very strictly run through PR. So a PR will say, hey, you can say this, or hey, you can say that, or this is your statement. Is that what you're going to say? You need to change this. You need to change that. So I don't really even care what the CEO said, what somebody else who's been away from the company for a while has said. Neither of those folks were there when this happened. So the point of it is it's moot. It means nothing in my book as to what they come out and say. Anything they say is a PR statement at the very, very least. Nothing more in my book. They're required to come out and say certain things. You can see how important the resellers and those they talk to on YouTube are to them because they waited for almost 2 weeks to even address it publicly from someone high up who's running the company. Now, for me, I already have my personal opinion on the new CEO of the company. I have no faith in him whatsoever. If you want to know who he is, just type his name. And again, I'm not going to use any names today. I don't really care. The point is, if you want to know, type his name in and then type in Nook, N-O-O-K, and see what he did to Nook. You can also see where he worked with Walmart for the length of time, compare his past history, and then you decide what you think he's going to do for eBay. The only thing at this point I see is that they're going to accelerate their Amazon cloning as quickly as they can, because in my book, they're pulling somebody from that same line. I'm on Walmart. Walmart's the same basic thing as Amazon, or at least that's what they're trying to be. Again, the person who's running, the new CEO, is pretty much the only person that would have taken the position knowing that all this news is going to come out. Who else would take the position? I would no way take over a company knowing that a federal case of this structure is going to be hitting right after I take over. Again, that's why it took so long. They had to figure out who would take it knowing this bad, darning, damning information against the company. Who would take it? And again, this guy has no real good history in my book. He should have been terminated when he sunk the Nook. So that should have been the end of making millions and millions of dollars. But instead, as we know, when a CEO steps down, even if they're even involved in something, they always seem to skate scot-free. My assumptions as well, the CEO of eBay, the past one who resigned, obviously, very obviously over this, will be scathe-free. He won't be touched by this, would be my personal opinion. There won't be enough evidence to say anything. Same with possibly if the CFO, the chief financial officer, was involved. Again, because a lot of this was stuff that had to be reimbursed, so somebody had to declare what they were going for. I kind of wonder if the CFO might have known some of what was going on considering this. Again, There may be no proof. This is my personal opinion based on the facts that I see and based on my own personal experiences with stuff that I've had to deal with as a person running companies or running divisions or, a region. So again, I'm not just throwing out some information. I've worked in corporate America. I handled a whole region, multiple states in the past. So I do know how a lot of this works. I do know the PR side. I had to orchestrate things with PR-wise in mind. I had to orchestrate things in what I said with PR statements in mind, with the company's interest in mind. When I'm speaking for a company or anything, I'm never speaking for myself. I'm only speaking for the company. So I don't think anything, whether they seem heartfelt or not, relates to, a personal opinion. Again, it all has to go through PR. If there's a written statement posted anywhere on eBay, anywhere, or even on a person's personal account, it had to have gone through PR at some point. It had to. There's just no way around it. All of what we see going on now, all of the TV commercials, the ad buy-ins that eBay has, again, this is all PR. They have to spend this money. Whether they're putting anything else out there or not, just the commercials can combat all of the negative press they're getting. And if you, again, look on the news for the last, say, 5 days, it's all gone, basically, unless you dig into it. All you see now is advertisements and eBay this and eBay announcement that. So again, this is all PR. This is something they had to do. They knew since August of last year, so this is something that's been planned. If you followed eBay and you know the revenue for the last 2 years, last year they sold 6%, roughly, over 6% less items than the year before. The year before that, they sold 2% less than the year before that. So the amount of actual sold items on the site is going down. Now, that affects us because if less people are buying on the site overall, that means less people are going to buy from us. You, me, everybody out there. So obviously, they've got to combat all of this negative press. They've got to advertise. They've got to get this stuff out. Again, this is nothing more than a PR campaign to right the company back going in the right directions, to push up the stockholders in the company, because that's who matters to eBay or any corporate American office. So going back to when this first hit the news, as I said, I don't trust eBay anymore. I know who I'm working with now. I know what I've got to do. My number one goal isn't worrying about eBay anymore at all. It's using that to push me to do more to get my business elsewhere and to get my business broadly out across the internet. That's the best way to help yourself. Don't waste your mind and your thoughts on what eBay is doing. We can't fix it. It's all PR. The people in charge are technically different. You're going to hear more things. There'll probably be some lawsuits and stuff like that going in the news. Nothing you can do about it. Your business is what matters. With the pandemic and the whole works, there's chances of other areas being re-locked down. I would center in on sourcing. I would source as much stuff as you can to be careful. For those up north, I would source as much stuff as well now while you can, because there are somewhat lesser amounts of garage sales right now because people don't want people coming to their houses and buying stuff with the pandemic going on. Source what you can and be ready for fourth quarter. That's what matters right now. I know there's other things going on, like the massive amounts of glitches that I get on eBay too. I see we've looked everywhere. Sorry, it's not you, it's us. That error all the time if I'm on eBay. And I try to send out an offer or something. Constantly I see that as well now too. So glitches galore all over the place. That's more of a concern to me than what somebody is getting arrested or charged or anything else like that. My business is what matters to me personally. Now, another aspect of this that people constantly bring up to me, and I get this again constantly, is the morality of still selling on eBay. Now, for those who have followed me, in the past, I was attacked last year, same time frame, some involvement with, what was going on with the same folks. So I do have a direct connection to the whole eBay aspect and all of it. But from my point, this helps me take care of my kids, my wife, my family. I put a roof over the head with part of the money that I earn from eBay. So for me, morality stops when it means that it could affect my family. Your family should be number one. Why I do this is for my family. So again, I'm not going to rush away from something that's making me money. I have not done anything morally unjust. I don't violate the rules or the law. So I try to do the right thing whenever I can. So if eBay is not going to do the right thing, or massive amounts of people at eBay aren't going to do the right thing, I still am. Again, this is a business. This is my business. This is a business decision to stick going with the same plan, which is to expand out my Shopify, InkFrog, sales channels galore, anywhere else I can expand my inventory to, as well as expanding my inventory. Put more of it in places that cost me less money. As a business, your goal is to decrease costs and increase revenue. So if I can find other places to list that won't cost me as much, other places to list items that will go for more money, that's what your job is to do as a business person. Also keep in mind that eBay now is at the halfway or almost below half of all of our income. So it's not just based on eBay. So mine is a overall business structure. I've got multiple parts that all come together to create the revenue that we have. It's not just eBay. It's not just Amazon, Etsy, or wherever else I may be selling stuff at. And I want to have all my inventory in my own site, my own safe place where I can't get dinged for listing something, or I don't have to take an offer or anything else like that. So, judge it how you feel comfortable with. If it's not moral for you to continue with eBay, that's the way you go. It's your own decision. My decision, again, is based on my family, my personal life, how that can affect my family. And I've got to keep rolling the way we're going. You don't just cut cold turkey and drop everything off. You work out of it. You get yourself a strategy, which we more than ever have now than ever before we've ever had. Our strategy now, again, is branching off and playing it safe and not putting all of our eggs in one basket. You can't do that anymore. It's just not possible. This whole incident just shows you that, the people running a company can take it down just by stupid actions or something like that, because less people want to buy on eBay right now. That's why the whole PR thing's going on. Less people want to see merchandise coming from somebody who they think is immoral. So again, it's hurting folks buying on the site as well as people that are selling on there. So it does hurt us. So we do have a stake in what's going on. So the bottom line is it's not changed anything for us. You've got to double down on what's going on to cover yourself. Be safe. Stock up on merchandise to sell right now while you can. Who knows what's going to happen? Don't let off the pedal. Just keep going and keep sourcing. Keep listing it as well. Branch out if need be as well, too. Don't just rely on one single platform these days. You can't do it. It's not safe. It's just not safe. Now, no disrespect to anybody out there who contacted me. I received probably 4 or 5 dozen text messages and things like that over what's going on in the news and the comments from the CEO and all that stuff. Again, I appreciate all of those messages and people reaching out to me. From my point, though, I just don't really care anymore what they're going to do. I don't believe what they say. It's PR. It doesn't change my structure of my business. It just makes me double down and work harder to get this done quicker. My fourth quarter is what matters now. Your fourth quarter should be the only thing you're thinking about or worrying about. That means you continue on eBay, you continue on eBay. If you got a better source or a better place to take your business, take it there. That's your call. But again, I've got to judge my personal business on my morality, and my morality stops at the door when it affects my wife, my kids, the well-being of my family. So that's where I'm at with this. Hopefully that gave you some ideas and some thoughts on this. If you enjoyed the conversation, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all your friends.
Look, now you can take your own swinging tour through London Love Country on the Yardley Slicker Dolly bus. 5 slicker lip polishes, 3 lipsticks, zillions of different looks. Mix them, match them, wear them alone. Get your slicker bus now. You'll never get another chance. Slicker Dolly. A Mad Mod Super Special. Hop aboard the Slicker Dolly bus from Yardley, of course.